Hi guys, my name's Oliver Belanger, and my side project is Moonlight. It's all of this. This is the community that I want to build and am building with all of y'all, because it's a thing we do together. That wasn't awkward enough. I'm gonna keep going. So we do a few things here. The biggest things is that it's a place for all of us to come here and talk about what we're working on, which starting with a pitch, giving an update, talking about implementation challenges we've been having, as well as taking questions and answering them for everyone else. What I do a lot of is setting up resources and coming up with ideas that will be nice for everyone. So one of those things is like that camera that's right there looking at me as I look at it. Okay. We've been recording these pitches, and earlier today, if some of you looked at Moonlight, they were live, right? Like we published them last night to YouTube. So we have the 23rd that's up there. We have the 30th that's up there. The YouTube videos in the comments have the timestamps, and they might be off by a few seconds, but it's pretty good. Everybody, by the way, thank Vlad. Stand up for a second, Vlad. He's doing like all of the video editing and basically AV stuff. So that shit's a lot of work, like really a lot of work. It took me like 5 hours to edit Saraf's talk, and all I basically did was like add slides and cut dead air, right? Like that shit is a lot of fun. So thank you, Vlad, again, really awesome. Yeah, so we have the video now that you can look at. I will also be keeping I have all the footage, right? So there's fun things in the future that I have ideas for the footage. But for the moment being, the format is going to stay relatively the same as far as the video. So we'll have like basically a little slide that goes through, and then write the time segment of each of your logins time in the comments of the YouTube. And that's probably going to stay that way for a while. So if you want to look at it, which I encourage you to, because looking at yourself pitching is always really excellent, click on I think YouTube also lets you just click on the time slot and it automatically reloads the page with the appropriate thing, which is really cool. So that's the video. Glad to say that Stefan and Piyush, both of them went and used the repo to sign up for demos. I forgot, but they did it, and that's awesome, right? So the other thing we have is the documentation repo, which is a GitHub repo full of documentation that we use for various group activities, as well as documenting things we learn about how to use the computers upstairs, and how anything we run into, right? Strongly encourage everyone and anyone to publish stuff to the repo. You're all collaborators. If you're not a collaborator, go on the Moonlight channel whenever you have a chance. Send me your GitHub handle or put it on the Moonlight channel, and I will add you as a collaborator. So anything you come across that would be a good thing for other people to know or understand, publish it. Put it on the GitHub. That's what it's there for. Yeah. Sometimes we have guest speakers that come. So far we've had one. There is in the administrative component of the repo, there is a section to put or to add guest speakers that you might want to bring in, that you know in your personal network or whatever. So feel free to use that and add people. If you do that, I will then come and contact you. The beautiful thing about having it on Git repo is I get notified, because I'm always on GitHub for various reasons. So I get notified when people, change shit. Yeah. I think that covers most of it. Any questions? Cool. Oh yeah.
I'm Ian, for everyone who doesn't know. There's a couple new faces, but yeah. Basically, my idea is the Slack link board. So it's a good way of organizing links that are posted in Slack teams, like their Slack channels, and kind of a Reddit-esque layout. So basically, you'll be able to post a link, and you'll get a little notification from the Slack bot that would be made with the Slack link board app, basically. And it'll ask you if you want to post it to the website. And if you do, you just add a category description, and it'll automatically post it onto your link board in the site category, and then everyone can kind of look through these categories and see if anything helpful is there, or anything interesting. I'm at right now is I went to Hollywood for 5 days. So I didn't get anything done during that span of time. But before that, I grinded out some progress, and lo and behold, I forgot to push. And now all that progress is gone because go and phrase a local file directory, and sometimes it gets wiped, and so it's all gone. And so now I'm kind of like, a lot of the progress that I did get done was just making sure my MongoDB was set up correctly, and like I had everything where it needs to be. So it wasn't like too hard. I can do it again, but I really don't want to right now. So I think I'm going to start working on the Slack bot, because that sounds really fun. And just learning how to use the Slack API, just getting that done and over with. And yeah, so that's where I'm at right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
More practice.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'll always push, 100%. I'll make sure I push.
So
Oh, okay. That's your question.
what are you gonna do next time?
What do you mean?
Next time you finish a thing.
Like a chunkus thing?
Yeah.
Push it.
Yeah, there you go.
And I'll put it on my USB drive just in case that's crazy.
There you go.
Yeah, just so I have it with me. Even if I don't have internet, I can still work on it. That's how I think that's what I'm gonna do from now on.
Double the better.
Yeah, 'cause that sucked.
Yeah, that's not fun.
Especially when I was like, oh, I'll work on it right now. I have nothing to do. And I was at my Airbnb and I couldn't work on it because nothing was there.
For me, whenever I include a feature, I always commit and
Yeah.
message like, hey, this feature blah blah blah,
Right.
the version blah blah blah, and then
True.
I keep pushing so that
Yeah.
screw up.
Yeah, I thought I did. I just don't think I actually did get push.
No.
I guess I just forgot. I was in a hurry to leave. But yeah.
Yeah, I'll get paranoid sometimes and just push all of my repos.
Oh yeah.
Just like go through all of them and just push them all. And it's always the same comment. For whatever reason, whenever I like do a fast comment where I don't care. So
Yeah.
it's just the letter D.
D.
Sometimes it's capital, so that's what it is.
Oh nice. Yeah, that makes it up sometimes.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So no more questions? Cool. Awesome.
Hi, I'm Piyush, and a few new faces maybe here. So I'm doing a project on machine learning. It's a student intervention system where you're trying to predict if a student would fail or pass based on some data set, which is provided by the school where the student is studying. And I'm done with the project. I'm waiting for a demo. Maybe next week I can show it to you guys. And yeah, that's about it. Like the data set has maybe 20-30 feature set based on which you have to predict.
What are you working on next?
Next, I'm working on an unsupervised machine learning project, which is customer segmentation, where we're trying to cluster different customers for a distributor. And I'm kind of procrastinating by looking into OpenAI universe.
The universe. Yeah, I saw that you.
Oh yeah.
I
I set it up actually.
Yeah.
So, how many of you know OpenAI? Alright. So OpenAI is a non-profit initiative funded by Elon Musk and a few other investors. Sam Altman as well, and they are trying to democratize AI so that it's not in the hands of just a few people like Google or a few companies. And they recently released something called OpenAI Universe, where you can actually train your models or your AI algorithms on simulators. For example, maybe a game, right? So they basically, I'll just give you an example of what I've set up on the OpenAI, just reading their blog. So what they have done is they've provided us a platform where you can go ahead and run your own algorithm on a game. So let's say it's a racing game, and they'll keep sending you the pixels. They'll send you images, 60 images every second. So since the game is running at 60 frames a second, they'll send you 60 images. And there would be a reward function. So the reward function is basically the points you're scoring, right? So as you go ahead in the game, your score keeps improving, and you need to steer the car well. So you need to make an algorithm which analyzes each image pixel, each pixel in the image by maybe some neural network you make, where that neural network is taking each pixel and you see, okay, the last move I did was the up arrow button, and my point score increased, and you train the algorithm on multiple models, and yeah, that's about it. So what they have done is they have given us an interface where they send us what the reward function's output is. So the score they're sending, they have their own OCR library. There's a very famous OCR library of Tesseract, I guess, but they're using a different one because in a game the background keeps changing, so they needed their own OCR library to do that. So that makes it easy because you directly get the reward function and you get the image. So you can just train your algorithm really quickly. Like all I've done right now is set it up so that I can just steer the car straight, so I'm not moving it. Right, no matter what the input is coming, I'm just making it go straight. So yeah, you just connect to their servers using a VNC where you can actually see what the algorithm is doing, and you can basically train your algorithm to play the game in the best possible way. That's super interesting.
What does unsupervised learning mean?
Unsupervised learning is where you don't have a data set, right? So like for us humans, how are we learning? It's basically based on our experiences. No one is like giving us a lot of data where we just make decisions saying, oh, it's greater than 5 or something like that, right? So, and this is like unsupervised learning because this is more like reinforcement learning, which I'm not really sure what it is, and I'm yet to study it. But like if you compare to my previous project where I had been given a data set, right, of students and some features that they had, and in unsupervised learning problems, I believe there is mostly there's no particular feature you need to optimize, right? In my first project, I was trying to optimize, like I had a target feature which was passing yes or no, right? So I had 29 feature set and I had a passing feature which was yes and no, and based on that I was trying to train the algorithm. Whereas in unsupervised learning, all I'm trying to do is, based on the whole data, I'm just trying to cluster the similar ones. You know, it's not really a target feature which I'm trying to optimize. And maybe even this is a part of unsupervised. I'm not sure about it, but it is a part of unsupervised learning because you are just giving a reward function, right? You just need to optimize that reward function. That reward function, this is the score, right? And you train your model on multiple iterations, and you realize that okay, in the first model, the key strokes were of this combination, and the second model, the model will in itself try to adjust the weights of the neural network so that it can increase the reward function. If the reward function increases, it'll keep improving. Unsupervised learning mostly involves like not a labeled data set.
So unstructured data.
Unstructured data.
So, like, basically, the only thing I've been interested in AI-wise, like, is the whole, Google They Go, Go bot.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and you had the StarCraft bot.
Yeah.
They're working on right
Yes.
now. So, like, my biggest thing is, like, for StarCraft, like, going into that is like a whole other rabbit hole, basically, right? But if you were given, okay, hey, give this computer game build path.
Exactly.
But that goes into other things like Minecraft, or like what hooks need to be made. Would every single click be like a new data point that you would throw into your algorithm, or would it be bigger?
I think Microsoft, I would like digress a bit and
Yeah.
I'll get back to your point. So Microsoft open sourced their a platform which lets people build models which play on the Minecraft game.
Oh, wow.
Right. So this is OpenAI has mostly integrated Flash and HTML5 based games. So it's not any complex game which they might as well have it. I've not read completely, but so when you're saying that when you take any action on when your model takes any action, is what exactly is that? So that's basically an event which is being sent to the game, right?
Yeah.
And then your model studies whether that action, what is the impact of that action on the reward function, and the reward function is the score. Correct. So just take an example of a small racing game, right? You're supposed to steer your car based on the image which is being sent to the model, right?
Yeah.
So you just read each pixel, and based on that you train your model saying, okay, this is the right time for me to press the right key because there's a curve there. You see, and you do it over iterations, and you realize that the model is training itself with the right amount of weights. I don't know how familiar you are with neural networks, but this is like this involves neural networks. So AlphaGo had, I think it was reinforcement learning, where it was again it made the model watch YouTube videos and learn the game, so that, and then it had multiple models which were training against each other. Right? So you do that when you have like loads of resources. You could just have all these servers on the planet they want. So they had made these models based on reinforcement learning, and which had, I think, multiple hidden layers in the neural network. And the reward function was basically, I took this step on this part of the game, and how did it affect the final output, right? Or so when you're doing that for something like Go, the game Go, it's insanely complex, right? Because the impact of one move can only be felt after maybe 20, 30, 40 moves, when you realize I'm losing this week. Right? So that is on a totally complex scale.
Yeah.
And
I just wanted to see.
just a racing game would be much easier, right? Because
Right.
if your speed reduces, or over a period of time you realize, okay, the score is not improving.
Right.
So there was this YouTube video where someone had made a model where it was trained for playing Mario, and it's just super fast. Like over, so each iteration, I guess, is called an epoch, or it's each generation of the model, right? So every generation then updates the weights to make sure that the reward function increases, right? So the reward increases basically. So maybe over a couple of thousand generations, it was going good. The game Mario is playing super well.
So, what kind of resources do you have access to run the tests that you want to create, like to see the effect of your algorithm? Because like if it's a racing game, if it's a modern game like he's talking about, usually you're using all those resources just to create one real-time instance of like 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
So if you want to see what an overall iteration is on each scenario, like how much resource, what do you actually have access to that would enable you to test your AI like against many instances to get those generations? Otherwise you'd be limited by time, just like everything else would be.
Yes, like you want to train your model based on multiple instances to gain this kind of version?
Well, no, to be able to go through instances either faster or so many at a time with deviations that you're not limited just by one single, like, okay, I did it once and now I did it a second time and a third time. But you can test like many different instances at once, like different ways of playing the game, like making a deviation somewhat through it, or starting it differently.
I get a question like,
Because like if you're testing like your own thing, that would mean that you're just limited by how you would be playing the game as well, like in real time. They'd be limited to the same decision making like input as you would be, whereas the machine could do more than that, or not even have to like render it potentially. Or I mean, still render it and read it, like look at it like you are, but like to play it multiple instances at a time.
So what exactly is the question?
Well, like, how do you actually know the progress that your AI is making? Like, if you're limited to, or like, what do you do you use OpenAI resources, or do they have a library or API that you tie into that gives you more resources?
So,
to do
so
these tests?
it's basically on a VNC network, right? So
Yeah.
all we're doing is sending the pixels back to your model.
Okay.
So they give you this resource of letting you run your model on these 4,000 to 5,000 games, right?
Okay.
So you can write a model where you say, if I get this image, analyze the pixels, and if it is somewhat like this, you do an event where you say, I send it an up arrow key.
Yep.
It goes to their servers, I believe, and
Yeah.
they take the action, and you can see it real time on what exactly is happening in the game.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I get that. I guess what I'm asking is they give you a singular VNC stream with like one game at a time, right?
Yes, I believe.
Okay. Okay.
But I think in the blog they've written you can run it parallelly, and I'm not sure because
Yep.
just doing it in one instance would make the learning a lot slower. So
Yeah.
I'm sure they would have taken care of something like what you've done.
Okay. Cool.
But
I
you
was
can
just
actually
wondering.
see what your code is doing, right? So
Yeah.
like all I did was just write the keyboard up event, like up arrow key. So I mean I could see that the car was going ahead, just moving forward.
Yep.
But if I train the model which I wrote on my own machine to analyze the image it's sending back and then make a decision based on that to move right or left, you can actually race by training your algorithm, right? And one very important thing they do is they send you the reward, right? You don't have to extract the score out of the image they're sending. I think they do send you the reward function where you can actually. It's a very complex task. Like it's OCR, but it's OCR to the next with a bit more complexity because it's not like black and white image where you just have to do OCR. Like there are so many open source libraries which let you do that.
Yeah.
But this is a bit more complex because in a game like you are maybe playing a racing game, the background keeps changing and the score remains the same, right? So that's a different problem where with each image they're sending you what is the reward function. Did your score increase or decrease?
Yeah.
And you can realize whether the event you took, like the right arrow you pressed maybe did it improve in the increase of the reward function? Cool. Any other questions?
From what you can tell, because like I can see kind of a rabbit hole of these projects kind of being like going down a bad path in a Sudoku solver or whatever. Like, so let's say you're taking your car and you're going to the right, and you get a bunch of points. Oh yay! But then you end up like driving off a ledge, and if, by training to go down that path, you're leading to an overall bad position. Like, so how does do you know anything about like how you would recorrect that, like after the model starts thinking it should be going this way?
So I do get a point, but like the games which I saw, like they're not like graphic intensive, they're
Okay.
like flash-based games which don't have any other path. Like if you go to the side, it'll just keep pushing the car on the right or
Right.
something like that. But what you're talking about is exactly what the AlphaGo team would have faced, because when you take a move, when you play a move right now, it has an effect maybe hundreds of moves later when you lose it, when you lose a region. And how do you take care of that? I have no idea. I think it's a similar problem, right? Like,
Right.
because overall it might lead to a negative impact on the output. You might
consequences.
Yeah, it would lead to some other consequences, but in the short term you might see that okay,
Right.
you're doing good in the reward function, but yeah, I do get the question, but I'm sorry, I'll
Right.
accept that. No. Any other question? Cool.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, so my name is Charlie Summers, and I actually have something that I am pitching you guys tonight. So I'm interested in potentially running, and this is going actually against what Lou has told us, but for any people that are interested in I'm interested in running an algorithms class. And for those that want a bit more of an intensive approach to algorithms, a little about my background. Right before I came here, I graduated with a BS in mathematics. So I did a lot of like tutoring and that sort of thing beforehand. So I have a little bit of experience with this. It's also really helpful to me because then I have to really understand this stuff and you guys can put pressure on me to do so. So yeah, I'm going to be following along with this book that my other friend Lou has lent me, which is pretty good. I've read through the first couple chapters and it's really interesting.
Can I take a look?
Yeah, sure.
What's it called?
It's just called Algorithms by a couple of gentlemen. You can pass back to you. And you can, I'm sure there are ways to get copies. I won't go any further than that. I'm on videotape. And then, but yeah, you won't necessarily need the book. I could do, but the idea is also that if I were to write lecture notes and suggest problems from it or something like that, I could also type them up and put them on the GitHub, so we could also get some more content on there. And if people the other thing is I have a particular request of Mr. Vlad to potentially help me with AV-related stuff should this go forward, so that we can also film and potentially have future students use this as well. So yeah, if anybody's really interested, is anybody interested?
I'm down.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good response. I can't handle too many people. I was thinking somewhere between 10 and 20. And I'm not exactly sure when it would start. It might not be until after Christmas, just because we're wrapping up projects and I'm going to be gone for a little while, and I don't want to kind of leave people hanging. But if you are interested, and I'll reiterate this over the Slack, send me a message. I'll put it in the Moonlight Slack that I'm doing this, and the first 15, 20 people that sign up, I'll be like, okay, you guys are a bunch of people that are doing this. But anybody else wants to do something similar and teach a class at another time to handle more people, because I'm sure there's some interest, I welcome them too, and we could collaborate and work together and do that sort of fun stuff. So yeah, any questions? What's up?
I have two.
Mhm.
Yeah. So why is Lou against it?
Huh?
You said Lou was.
Oh no, he's not actually against it. He just doesn't like textbooks or classes. So
yeah, and then I guess the main reason that I'd be interested in doing it and learning more about algorithms is specifically for coding interviews and stuff like that.
yeah, I think that's a lot of our opinions.
Right, exactly, yeah. But is that what you would be focusing on first, or would you do other ones first?
So, coding interviews, in my experience, and it's not really experience with coding interviews, but hearing about coding interviews, focus a lot on how the traditional college system is set up. So the reason why they have an emphasis on these theoretical algorithms is because that's what computer science colleges teach,
Right.
as opposed to them just going and building something, because computer science colleges or typical colleges don't really teach you how to build stuff.
Right.
So the idea is it would be following a traditional textbook, with kind of the expectation being that some of the problems, and particularly the mindset of people that have studied this kind of thing, are the ones that these types of interviews are aimed at, or they're trying to find the best at. So I'm hoping that it is exceptionally helpful for coding interviews, but it won't be like going through cracking the coding interview or anything like that. So it won't be particularly oh, you should expect this problem on in an interview. And I expect that there will be days where none of the problems that we will be exploring would be found in an interview, but the mental process for working with these problems and a lot of the underlying concepts you will experience either in an interview or on the job or just in your personal projects. So I hope it's still useful.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't mean to keep hogging it.
That's all good.
One last one. Would we be working on implementing them in code?
So I would not, I'm not planning on assigning homework or anything like that.
Well, no, just together as a group.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Anything, if there's groups of students that want to work together on particular problems for these algorithms.
That's the biggest problem for me.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, it's just you have such a better understanding if you can implement it versus just talk about it. So there's also like, so there is like assignments from the book that they have like suggested problems. Most of them are not code from what I can tell, but I have some of my own ideas having read the first couple chapters of ways that we can implement some of the things that they're talking about.
Yeah.
And some of them are like, would be really quick. Like they have like pseudocode in the book that you can kind of follow that logic. But there's also some that might be a little bit more robust. That could be cool. Second?
Like, I think it's one of the biggest things, like, just, I mean, we're mostly learning algorithms for coding interviews, because I feel like, especially if you're like in web dev, you're not going to be
Right.
doing that much. But, like, I think the biggest thing is like knowing how to implement them, that makes you like better at programming.
Yeah, I mean, definitely practicing implementing algorithms will help you just in general with any algorithm that you approach, because you'll at least have the process and the structure down for, okay, I have this relatively theoretical problem that I have 20 minutes or whatever to whiteboard out. It can't be that long. It's not going to be more than like the whiteboard, most likely, if I can think of a quick way of doing it.
Right.
So like having a procedure to go about solving those sorts of problems is definitely valuable.
Yeah.
Cool. Any other questions, thoughts, opinions? What's up?
I read, I just skimmed through the chapters, and I think it's gonna be helpful for the interview prep, because I've seen some of the questions on there, on those like leak code and packrang, and some of them are really relevant, so I think it'd be good practice
Cool.
for the coding interview.
Good. That's a good report. If anybody has like another textbook that they're like, we have to use this textbook, I'd be happy looking into it. This one's just like circumstantially easy for me, so because I've been lent it by a friend who's probably going to be begging for it back at some point, and I'll just hoard it in my room.
We can do leak code. Leak code already has like those problems.
Yeah, and like using those as like a way to practice implementing them is definitely useful. And like if it just becomes like kind of like a study sesh where we get together and talk about how to solve algorithms, that'd still be cool. I still will be trying to prepare something of a curriculum, I guess, so that we could just have some written content about it, so that others can follow along later should they want to. The other question I guess I had was days of the week. Is there like, I'd like to do it like once a week, and like if it really just isn't enough time, try to do it twice. And trying to get to about a chapter a week with there being 10 chapters in the book. Is there like some days where like, I'm guessing not weekends because a lot of people go home or whatever. I was thinking like Mondays, something like that.
Except not next Monday.
Yeah, probably not next Monday. Math Monday. Yeah, so that's cool. So yeah, once again, if anybody wants to jump on that, feel free to just Slack. My handle is csummers, and if you just ping me a message, I'll be considering that as guaranteeing your seat. Hopefully I don't get too many of those, because then I'll have to cut people and that'd be sad. But we'll see what happens. Thank you, everybody. If there's no more questions, thank you.
Hey all, I'm Vincent, and recently, about 2 weeks ago, I started learning Angular 2 as part of just a general area of that I want to learn. And so to learn Angular 2, I decided to make a website, and that website being a ranking website for the ping pong that are playing constantly. So so far, I've been able to design it, I've been able to build it, so yeah, I've got all the front end done. So now I'd just be working on the back end, so MongoDB, Express, and Node.js. So far, yeah, Angular 2 down.
So it's like mean stack development, I would say.
Yes, very much so. Go ahead.
Have you talked to Nick at all?
Yeah, I'm perfectly aware. We're perfectly aware of what we're both doing.
So yes,
No, because like if
I know, but the thing is, like, I want to learn the entire main stack, and so by working with him, I would miss out on a lot of that. So that's so he approached me, and I was like, I'd prefer to learn everything. So,
Sure.
yeah. Yes.
I mean, you can learn by yourself, but also it's good to have someone like working together, so you can learn like good stuff from him, like how
Yeah.
influenced, like the way he does and stuff. So you can
Well,
see.
I guess as a first project, it's probably best to do
Okay.
that, and then later on maybe work with them on something else.
Alright, so how do you feel about TypeScript? What's your opinion on that? So you knew JavaScript before TypeScript, right?
Yeah.
Can we
Okay,
first
so
go
going
what?
into TypeScript, how was it?
Wait, before that, what is TypeScript?
Yeah, what is TypeScript?
TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript built by Microsoft. And as for what I feel about, how I feel about it, it's fine. The learning curve wasn't too great. So at first, it's intimidating, but you know, if you power through it, you'll be fine.
What's the difference? Relatively, like.
Well, as for
Like
Angular,
feeling wise.
as for Angular 2, you basically separate into different areas. So basically, like you've got the component area, and you've got so basically just like set up all the properties of the file and the component, and then you've got like a separated area underneath for all the implementations. So basically all your functions and all that, and all your variable declarations, as far as I know anyway. Yes.
Why did you choose Angular 2 over React?
Oh yeah, ooh, that's a good one. Ooh, that's a really
Like
good
Google
one.
versus Facebook. I don't know. I do plan on learning both,
Yeah.
but
React is better, by the way.
everyone's entitled to their own
Okay,
opinion.
okay.
I'm sorry.
Really
Who's
interesting.
answering the question right now?
Everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
You're just listening.
I am impartial. I will be learning both. I just decided that I would learn Angular 2 first. Oh no, my image.
It's like a general question I want to ask. Like, if someone has tried either of the two technologies, either React or Angular, I would love to know more about which one is better and what do you find good about the React ecosystem and the Angular 2 ecosystem. Not a question to you, but
Yeah. All right. Well, I can't really comment on React yet because I don't know anything about it. So when I do get to it, maybe I'll answer this question. But yeah, right now I can't. I don't know anything about it. Yes.
So since this is kind of like a learning journey for you, what is like the one big thing that like took you a lot of like mental lift, right? I think like
Just starting.
starting
Yeah.
like the JavaScript
Because
team, right?
it's really different to a lot of what I've done before. It's just like the setting up and all that, having all the different files. You've got a TS file,
Yeah.
and then then that translates to JS files and map files, and it's just really weird. So I had to figure my way around that, and then you've got modules, you've got components, you've got services and all that. So figuring out how everything interlinks together, that was the hardest part. But once you get through that, then, and if you already know JavaScript, you're fine.
Right.
Yeah.
And then alongside that, it's kind of a pair question. Through that learning, what's your favorite thing about Angular 2 so far?
I don't think I have a favorite part of Angular 2. I just like how it's pretty simple. Like it's not hard to learn. It took me like probably 4 or 5 days to really get down to learn it, and then I went straight into the rankings, ping pong rankings project, and I found it decently easy. I mean, I just Googled a lot, and then there's a huge community for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else? Cool. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, hello guys. My name is Jose Ramon. And I want to thank you for those who were last week watching my demo. It was like an hour or something. I really appreciate the feedback, really. Actually, I told my teammates and they actually liked the feedback. They pretty much reviewed the design of the website again, and they, and they now they are sending me some sketches that probably I can do better, like some widgets that probably I can, like putting on full width, landscape, or putting there and there. So yeah, thank you guys. I also want to thank Oliver for this opportunity. I realized that in the last video, I couldn't understand myself really well because my voice was very deep and I was saying a lot of M's. So yeah. Okay, I'm gonna try to get better in that. So yeah, all right. So that's pretty much for my side project in Ubicator. Now, as Vincent, I'm also starting to learn Angular, but the version 1, because it was the one that is on Coursera. So I pretty much, today I just installed Homebrew and Node.js on the Mac. I'm gonna start doing something. At the end, we need to finish a project, like a real project, something useful. And I like a Pokédex from Pokemon, because I don't know if my mom, you know, she's not so tech savvy, and she called a PlayStation Nintendo, an Xbox Nintendo. My DS is a Game Boy, always. And all Pokemons are Pikachu. Pikachu. So I want to create something that is very simple. It's just a search bar, and you just type like some adjective. Let's say, I don't remember the name of this Pokemon, but I know it's red, it's big, it's more like a dragon, so it can probably be Charizard. So I can type pretty much that, and it will show me like all the possibilities that, anything that can be related to those Pokemons. Probably like red fish, it will be Magikarp, or golden probably is more like orange, red, white, so pretty much that. So also because I want to buy Pokemon Sun, and I realized that there are so many Pokemons, I don't know their names. I want to just like, oh, I found this Pokemon, I'm gonna type like I forgot the name. It's like a Pikachu, a ghost, like something weird. It's very weird. It is like scary, everything. But the thing is that I want to build that just to learn more about Angular, more about databases, probably, just to have all the ways. And instead of putting the images, I want to put ASCII art instead of the images. So it will be more like standing out a little bit. Well, that's pretty much what I'm gonna work on, probably like in the next couple of weeks. It shouldn't take me a lot. I mean, it's real simple, like a, you know, like in C we are making all these functions like split, white space, join, all of that. So it's pretty much something similar. You just write a sentence, it will look all the words, it's gonna see if it matches, if it doesn't, and that's pretty much it. And whatever word that doesn't exist, it just doesn't count for that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Any questions?
You can, so Postgres actually is a really good built-in search functionality. So you can actually use a Postgres database as a rudimentary search engine, because it has a really good like text parser thing going on. Whereas first of all, no, I'm not going to get into a rant about MySQL, but yeah, Postgres. You might want to look into that. They do, like you can have a really basic search engine just using Postgres with query.
So, yeah.
Me or?
Go for it. Yeah.
So, are you trying to build it from the scratch, or you want to use some kind of framework?
I could probably use a framework. I'm not even sure, because I think for the scope of the course, it can be something very simple. So
Okay.
I wanna finish that, and I'm gonna see if I continue with Angular 1 or I move to 2, because from what I have read, there are like very big difference. Also, the course doesn't like teach you. It just teach you like the fundamentals, like the basic. Oh, I don't know. That's what I read about. So probably do something really simple. But if I'm allowed to use a framework, I could use that.
Okay, then I would definitely recommend you to use Elasticsearch. Elasticsearch.
Okay.
It's a lot of companies use it, and it's really powerful.
Nice.
Let's say you wanna like you just mentioned like you put keywords like red, like
Yeah.
have wings or something like that.
Pretty much that.
Then you know it just there are multiple types of searches.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say if you do one of the search functionalities is called cross field search. If you use those, then you get those fields, and based on your inputs, Elasticsearch can return the output that you're looking for.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely try that out.
So I don't know if Bulbapedia has an API.
Yeah, I was looking for the API, but I want something more, like I found Bulbapedia. Alright, there's a website called Poke API, which pretty much like have everything like.
There you
I
go.
look for Bulbasaur, it shows me like the weight, the size, the type, the attacks that can be learned, pretty much that, but I want something more general, because it doesn't have like, it's green, is like a dinosaur, is,
Yeah.
like,
So
uh,
yeah, I'm not sure. It doesn't have like a small description. 'Cause I know Bulbapedia just has so much information about every Pokemon.
probably,
That like you could use to just like feed some content from.
yeah.
And like, I mean that's probably one of the least coding elements of this project, is just like thinking of how to describe every Pokemon, but it's a big part of the project.
Yeah.
Sounds like if you want to have this type of, like search functionality,
Yeah.
and have to be like, you can have kind of like dummy-ish, you have a couple like descriptors for each, but if you want it to be like a little more robust, depending on how you want to do it, I mean, I'm guessing like you might be able to just like, it would suck to have to scrape, but it's not like Bulbapedia is like doing anything too secure, so you know more about me about whether or not you can kind of listen in and see what tech, like what's being said.
Oh, fuck, I mean, like, if you're gonna not use an API, I mean, I don't know how JavaScript aligned they are, but like, fuck going to the package is a huge pain in the ass. Like, first try to just scrape the data, using, web scraper shit, like whatever, first. But if that doesn't fly, so the biggest problem with scraping are basically, JavaScript. Right? JavaScript render things obviously don't render when you're making a request and getting text data back. And obviously they don't render when you do that. So that's a huge issue. The second biggest issue, to overcome that, is you use something called a headless browser. And headless browsers basically will render the JavaScript and kind of interact with the application as though if you were it just runs it, right?
Yeah.
So then the downfall of scraping is web developers' shitty fucking code. I've gotten seg faults in Python because of people's website code using Benton, like, yeah. So those are the two biggest problems with scraping.
Yeah.
Same thing. The thing about search is generally actually pretty simple. What do you have good data? And you almost never have good data. Searching for structured data is not very difficult. It's not a very difficult problem. Searching for shitty data, unstructured data, is super hard, right? So you have things like Elasticsearch that make that a little bit easier. Using Elasticsearch, you can fake a semantic search. It's not semantic, but you fake it. You put enough elastic layers on it, it can like kind of resemble semantic search. It's not, but it can.
So scraping, if you're gonna not use an API, definitely go for web scraping before you go to like packet sniffing. But you can't totally hijack their API because they're using an API, right? They have to get data somewhere to their front end, right? So they're using an API, and if they don't have it super well secured, you can usually kind of like, and like they most likely they don't, because like Bloomingdale doesn't have it secured, Saxon Avenue doesn't have it secured. Bunch of these like people that are making, they also all use Java for some fucking reason. But,
Welcome to the corporate world.
but these corporations don't have their API secure, so most likely like Wikipedia is not gonna have their shit like kiosk.
Pretty serious, I don't know.
If they do though, that'd be hilarious.
They have really heavy with the website. Like the web pages, like if you open like 6 of them at the same time, it crashes your browser.
That's true.
Oh, that's
Yeah, they're just super heavyweight. It's literally so much information.
that's not gonna be good.
Like if you could get next line in and just like get the first like
Broken.
first bit of it would be better.
That's alright.
I was thinking, if you made it mobile, if you wanted to pass the whole switch thing, you can just, I'm sure there's an API out there that's relatively simple to use for photo recognition. And so someone can just take a picture of the Pokemon and then it goes through and matches it
wow.
for you. It says, okay, this is what it
That's pretty
is.
neat.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that might be actually easier because there's like less typing.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I've seen a bunch of apps do it. Like, I know I use an app for magic cards. And I would just, you go like here and it'd be like, this is the price, this is, you know, how much it goes for and stuff like that.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah. Then you could take pictures of people and try to match them with Pokemon. And you can know what Pokemon you are. That's awesome.
You could actually get pretty good traffic on that. Like a small facial a small facial campaign and you get good traffic on that.
And since you're doing, I've definitely seen like relatively simple photo recognition APIs out there for JavaScript. I messed with one. I didn't ever really get that far with it, but I know there's one for JavaScript.
There's Clarify, that might be helpful.
Yeah.
These people are cool.
What's up?
Google has its own API now too.
Do you need to pay for it?
Yes. Like there is a free tier, but
Really?
you have to pay for every other API, right?
I mean,
Yeah, for
it
Mac.
depends. Yeah, usually.
Unless it's an open source library.
Yeah. Or any more questions, suggestions, feedback?
Are you good? Cool.
Before I forget, I'm also part of a club, of a robotics club in 42. If anyone wanna join, contact me or Sino or Vlad or Brian.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah, I missed today.
So yeah, if you wanna join in, we got like a lot of stuff today. Like pretty much we're all set, so we can start building things tomorrow, next week.
You have a soldering iron?
Yeah, we have like 3.
Wow.
Power supplies.
Did you guys just pull a bunch of money?
No, it was free.
Electronic junk.
Dumpster diving.
Really?
No shit.
Yeah, pretty much, you know, like the labs, they pretty much like put everything together and throw in the trash. And we were actually gonna see if there was anything like outside the trash, like some TVs, microwaves, something. And then this guy showed up, like one of the workers, and he told us like, what are you guys doing? Like,
Just give you a bunch of shit.
yeah, and we're like, oh, come on in, yeah. Here's a computer, everything, like.
That's sick.
We have like a lot of stuff right now.
That's awesome.
Can I have one of your power supplies?
That's it.
Hello guys, my name is Stefan, and I see a lot of new faces. Also Kenny. So before I start talking about my side project, I want to digress a little bit and talk about my side story. So as you can know by my accent, I wasn't born here. I came from South Korea about five years ago, and after I went through high school here, I went to UC Irvine and majoring in computer engineering. And then I heard about 42, so I left college before finishing my fourth year, and that's how I got here. And then recently, a week ago, there was a career fair that I went. It's called OC Tech Career Fair. No, what's it called? Tech Off. Yeah, Tech Off Career Fair. And I met a lot of recruiters, and they, I just talked to them, and they were really, like interested in me. But they were like, so we started talking, and they asked me, hey, where do you go? Which school do you go to? And I said 42. And the recruiters were like, what is that? I never heard of 42. And I was like, oh yeah, of course. It's pretty new. It's a French free coding school. They recently founded in Fremont, and explained everything. And basically, all those, basically I gave them my contact information. I also got their contact information. After that, I followed with them via email. I sent probably like 8 of them, and I talked to this recruiter. He basically, one of the booths that I went to, they had this 1 minute coding challenge, but it was really easy. Basically, you have to find the max integer in an array. I solved it in like I solved it in like 17 seconds. But the VP of engineering was like, "Oh shit, how did you solve it in 17 seconds?" Come on, it's so easy. so I got a T-shirt for free, and that's how I got a internship interview. So the T-shirt is coming up along the way. Hopefully it's there. I should check. So I have an interview. I had an interview today with this company called Arnab. It's you guys can check it out on Crunchbase. It's like I think they recently got $1 million or $2 million seed funding. So it's really relatively new, about 1 to 10 employees. And so I talked to this recruiter. I would say hiring manager. I talked to him, and the first question he asked was, "Did you graduate college?" I was like, no, well, I'm taking a break from UC Irvine, and I decided to go to coding school. And he was like, well, for this junior developer position, you have to graduate college. I was like, okay, and that's it. So unfortunately, I lost the opportunity because I didn't graduate college. I found it really intriguing because it's a startup. Usually they look at your skills, like they look at your knowledge in programming and how to build things. But I feel like this company is really unique in some ways. So I was a little depressed at the moment because like I hustled. I went to career fair by myself. Like I asked my friends to go with, but they never, like they didn't want to go. I hustled, but the things I got in return was frustrating, right? I got rejection on the spot because I didn't graduate college. It's ridiculous. But I realized, I heard it from Steve Jobs. Like you don't know like when when some kind of events happen in your life, they don't matter to you at the moment. But once you look back, basically it's like connecting the dots. Like if this happened, if this events like happen to you, either bad or good, once you look back, they're connected and they became who you are. So I took it as just a great experience because, it's a rejection, and you get rejections probably like a lot more in the later in life. So I took it as a, good learning lesson, and I will keep moving forward. So that's about it, and that's what motivated me to get back to my side project. I'm gonna go really hard. So my side project is called Tradies. Does anyone know what Tradies mean? Anyone? No? So Tradies tradies means salesman in Australian. So what my what our platform offers is that it provides a marketplace where people can buy and sell items with trust and confidence. So how do we build this trust and confidence? How do I build this platform? So the unique features of my application is that, first of all, it is scammer free. What do you mean scammer free? So if you want to buy items on my website, then you have to first do the email verification. I mean, it's simple. After that, you can browse items, you can message seller, etc. You can do whatever you want. But if you want to sell items on my platform, then you have to do the email verification, and also you have to create a this WePay account, which is like a PayPal account, and you have to link it to my application. In that way, you can drastically reduce scammers, because it takes 2 steps to get to my application. So in that way, you can also build trust in this community. Secondly, in-app transaction. So what do I mean by in-app transaction is that there is a secure checkout method. So I mentioned previously, sellers have to link WePay account to my application, right? So basically, this checkout method, what this does is it allows seller to collect cash directly into their bank by using this checkout method, and buyers can, they don't need to bring any cash or anything. They just need to bring credit card and input their credit card information and just send the money directly. In that way, sellers don't need to worry about whether this money is real, or they don't need to give their own personal information to make this transaction successful. For example, like Venmo, you don't need to give them, your Facebook profile to complete the transaction. Lastly, I have a rating system where if buyers choose to use my secure checkout method, then after this checkout method, buyers can rate and leave the feedbacks on the seller. In that way, buyer has a great power to either boost or worsen the seller's reputation based on the experience that seller provides. And on the other hand, seller will have reputation. We have a good reputation in this community. So this is a few of the unique features that my app has, and I wish I could demo it tonight, but since it's not working, it's okay. I can demo it next week. And personally, the mission behind this marketplace is that I want to, I want to enable everyone to become a salesman eventually, and one thing that I love about my application is I don't charge anything to sellers. I only charge few percentage, about 3.9% to the buyers, and basically I only collect 1%, and 2.9% goes to the WePay. So that's one of the monetization monetization part that I mean. And on the other hand, all the users will have a limit, a post limit. They only can post up to 4 posts, and then after that, you can increase it by doing upgrades through our in-app transaction. So that's the whole monetization that I will do. So that's my tradies. Any questions?
I have 2.
Yes, go for it.
So API that we pay, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was always curious into like, because if I was going to build something that involved transactions, anything, how do you test that?
Oh yes.
Without sending
Yes.
in like payment.
Excuse me. So we pay. What I love about we pay is, I mean, Stripe has that, but they have like test website where you can create a fake bank accounts and fake credit card numbers. That's how I do. Because if I really turn this into a new venture, then I have to put the tax ID, but I don't have it yet.
Yeah.
But for the beta version, I will definitely have that. So that's how I test my applications, using fake bank account and fake credit card information.
Okay. And then the second question, so when you're talking about how sellers can only post 4 times, is it going to be similar to how like we do correction points, where like it can get corrected, or to sell, you have to have a certain amount of points, you need to exchange points to sell.
In a way.
And then would you get more points by or I guess more potential posts by buying, or would you have like a system where they can buy extra points?
Yes. So I would love to show you demo.
Okay, yeah, I guess I should.
But yeah, I have a upgrades page where for this one it's not translated between user to user, maybe between company to user. So I give like 3 plans. Like first plan is only like 0.99 cents, which will give you like I think 4 posts more, and then the second plan will give you like 9 posts for $1.99, and then the last one will give you 20 posts for $2.99. So in that way, it's kind of like just like what you said, like kind of crash points, I guess, but it deals with real money. And yeah, maybe later down the road, if you're a really good seller, maybe I can give it incentive, like give the free posts in a way that it motivates like them to post more stuff.
Yeah.
So
or maybe like a membership type thing, where like you get more like you just pay a membership and then.
For membership, I think I'm probably gonna do that for like companies.
Yeah. Okay.
Or for companies, so that like they have unlimited posts, but they have to pay certain fee.
Yeah.
Like every month or something. But for that, once I have a strong user base.
Yeah.
So with the idea that you have in mind, what do you have in mind as far as drawing sellers to your system in order to do selling to begin with? And are you looking to independent individuals first, such as like free market like Craigslist type thing, but with security? Or are you looking more of like a commercial thing? Because it sounds like when you involve like transactions, you're basically creating a commercial entity out of an individual or an entity joining it. So the tough part in my mind would be for people to look at what you're doing and think, okay, I could sell this item for $150 on Craigslist, or I could sell it for $150 on your market, and then lose 4% on like credit card and another whatever, like, and I have to go and earn these points just to post my items, kind of thing. You see?
Yes. So.
Because where do you start the market? I guess.
Yes.
And I know it's not a coding related question.
No. Yeah. Definitely, I get that. So. My biggest competitors would be, just like mentioned, Craigslist.
Yep.
For up, that's what I'm going to go against. So what I see, I would like to tell you a story about how I experienced, what my experience was with Craigslist.
Yep.
So I bought my MacBook Pro here, which is worth like $1,600. I bought it off from Craigslist. So this guy, he got a great deal. And I basically looked at the Craigslist post, and I called this guy, and we met up at the Starbucks. It's kind of like a little bit, I guess, ghetto area. And I was dressed up normally, and this guy was like very nervously looking at me, like as if I was a criminal, because like him, he doesn't know about me at all. He doesn't know like what I did previously and whether I actually bought stuff from someone or whether I sold stuff. So this person doesn't know about me, and also I don't know about him, but for me, it's fine because he doesn't look that fit. He doesn't look like like crazy person. So I'm fine with it, but he doesn't. And we met up and and basically I had because I had ton of cash, right? Because because that's what Craigslist is for. They only basically every transaction is made with cash. So I have cash and I want to just give it to you. I want to give it to him, but he was he was scared because he doesn't know whether I have fake money or not, right? So basically he had this pen where you can see whether it's actual value or not, the fake, And also, he basically counted everything in front of me, even though I said, it's correct value and everything. So basically he's very suspicious of myself, my being. And from there I realized, there should be a better way that makes him feel better, makes it feel better that, I'm a legit person, That's how I got started into building this website. And so I kind of digress a little bit, back to your point. So so you said, how does it
to your marketplace to begin with? Because there's a barrier of entry that you have, which would be signing up as a user and having to, like you said, it keeps additional scammers out, but it also makes one more level for individuals that just want to post something and sell it quick to not be a part of that marketplace to begin with.
Right.
And part of that would be what's the average number of items that somebody's going to sell when they go to Craigslist from a seller's perspective? Is it often that people go there and they sell large batches of things, or do they just very rarely and periodically sell an item here or there? And where's the broad spectrum of people? Where do they fall? Because I don't know.
Yes.
But
yes.
how would you get an individual that only wants to make a singular sale to go to a different marketplace? Because we all have that same anxiety and fear of the guy that you have to deal with. Because I went and bought a graphics card from a guy that had a really cool story about how he worked in graphics before, but he didn't plug it into a fucking computer in front of me. So that was terrifying for me. That alone. No matter what the guy told me, I didn't even care. I was still going to be sketched out until I plugged it into my computer. And I was happier than hell that it worked, and it was brand new. But that's besides the point. I share that anxiety.
Yes. So basically, I'm targeted toward people who just wanna sell I guess one item every month. I guess.
Okay.
Just smaller scale
Yeah.
instead of massively selling them. Yes. So basically, I'm targeting to those, and yes, it takes a little bit, it takes 2 steps to sell, but actually it's pretty easy. So WePay account, if you create a WePay account, it just automatically links to my Tradies application.
Yep.
So basically you just need to, email verification, that's about it.
Yeah.
2 email verifications.
I guess the other side of it, what I'm saying is at a certain point when you're selling items, you have to consider it income. And at what point do you personally have to claim that back from your marketplace to the state that they live in, just to deal with that, because you're handling the transaction. As individuals, they're responsible for selling items at that point.
Yes.
Whereas in a private market that doesn't have transactions recorded, totally different thing.
That's where privacy and policies come.
And also
And-
sales tax.
Yes, so how this transaction works is I don't hold the buyer's money
Yep.
and give it to the seller. It just goes directly to the seller.
Right.
So I don't do anything about the money that seller gives to the buyer. It just goes directly. So I just collect a fee. So and also.
Right, but by collecting a fee on the transaction, it's now a recorded transaction of that person selling something to someone else, and there's been a profit made off of that transaction.
Right.
So at that point, it has to be and I could be totally wrong, but I'm pretty sure at that point it's they're a business to an individual, regardless of it being an individual to an individual. That's beside the point. When you're selling something, it's then part of the taxable marketplace.
Yes. So basically, I basically researched that too.
Yep.
So in the WePay, if you make more than I think maybe 10K or something like that, you have to report tax.
Yep.
But if it's more than that, you don't have to. So for a seller's standpoint, having a WePay account it's actually convenient, you know. And usually those people, they don't sell like, you know, over 10K, right? Unless, you know, they are a business entity.
Right, but
And
a lot of what you're talking about is like the really ideal point for your marketplace would be larger ticket items, like
Yes.
computers or vehicles, for example, which would most definitely go beyond those values. And at that point, the cost continues to increase as well that you're incurring on that 3.9% or whatever it may be, which might not seem like much for smaller items, but when you're actually like looking at the larger scale of the marketplace, that's a huge cost on an individual that's just gonna sell a quick like truck, pickup truck, whatever, that they now have to pay another like $40 on or whatever it is.
okay. I think that you brought up a good point.
Oh, 3.9 on like, that's just on a grant, you know?
Probably, that's actually a good point. What I would do is I would set a price range. Let's say from 1 to $100, 2.9%, 100 to $1,000, like 2.9%. Because 2.9% is minimum from the report we pay.
Yep.
So I don't get paid, but we pay gets paid.
Right.
So, or I can just charge like 4.1% or 0.2%,
Right.
you know?
I guess what I'm also saying is, from the seller's perspective, they're having to incur additional costs that they wouldn't have if they've listed it.
And does the buyer pay, or who pays the fee? The
Buyer. Buyer.
The buyer, so the seller doesn't get hit by the
Okay,
buyer.
so it'd basically be pre-marked up for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I didn't mention it, didn't I?
Yeah, you mentioned it, but
Which also creates its own flip dynamic
Yep.
of having that
Yeah,
same
yeah.
limit barrier to
So-
entry for the other side. Because of
So
the
it's
market.
like, okay, if you wanna, basically it's like, what I'm saying is this, if you wanna use our, you know, in-app transaction,
Yeah,
then go for it, you know, but you're gonna have to pay for it.
right.
But you're gonna have a chance to, you know, like write a review about this person.
So, just as I'm thinking of it, like the one big suggestion I would have is to aim for the premium and to continue to charge your costs. Because paying for privacy on a larger scale and having it handled so easily would be ideal for the seller at that point, because you're taking the larger ticket items that cause that greater anxiety on both sides, and you can sell it as a service as an individual without needing to go and say, I'm part of this big dealership, or I'm part of whatever it is, and I have this really fancy nice stuff. The fancy nice shit, if you can sell that and they don't have to worry about the rest of it, hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for, I would say for the big stuff, I don't,
And then you can
I,
make money as well,
Well, but so-
because you're taking care of, I'm sorry for interrupting.
no, it's okay, it's okay. Yeah, for the big stuff, I would probably encourage them to use our premium account.
Yep.
So for that, I kind of have a thought about it. Probably have you know, for the if seller's gonna pay for it for this one, like every transaction, successful transaction, or have also like monthly premium subscription fee, stuff like that. But for now, my focus would be those individuals, so that I can increase the user base,
Yeah.
and that's my my short-term goal.
Okay. Have you considered flipping that just by like continuing to grow your costs as you go larger, but eliminating the cost for the lower goods? Even though you would incur the cost, you would draw the larger marketplace that you're talking about to like get people in, and those would be the people that would still also see those premium products on the same market, but then incur the large costs on the occasion that they get larger.
So what you're trying to say is have another feature that for the premium membership, I would say.
Well, just like giving access to the buyers to anything they want to buy. But basically, they're only paying that additional 1% on the larger values because it would matter more, and it would also get them in the door to look at those smaller products that they want to look at overall. Like when you're,
I see.
it gets volume
So
on your
so
page as
just the
well.
price, or just
Because like, what I'm saying is, I think you need initial volume in order to get both sides of the people there.
Okay.
And the tough part of that is you gotta make it clear for lower quality stuff, just so you have things to fill it, but then making your bank on where it actually counts, where the privacy actually counts, or the most effective place for your market.
Okay.
So,
Thanks for your feedback.
yeah, no problem.
Okay.
And I think that the biggest thing that you're implicitly saying,
Yeah.
but is like your feature set is really attractive to the high-end market, right? So it's the laptops.
Yeah.
It's
The same people that use Uber, the
Right.
same people that want
Exactly.
these private transactions to happen.
So that's where your high-end market, like the guy that's maybe nice shoes also, some of them, but like the guy that's selling, you know, jeans from Kmart, like for a markdown or whatever, because he found them or something, he's not gonna use the platform. Like the $100, $50. Yeah, happens.
Yeah.
The $50 range is that's too many steps for it to be worth their time. Whereas when you start getting to the high hundreds, thousands, then the anxiety thing becomes a really serious matter, as you have experienced yourself. So the implicit thing that you're saying is like advertising, like all of your focus, the user you're thinking in your head, most likely should be that higher end market. As far as what you're building for, from design to advertising to all of it, because first of all, they want the money, so that's great. But second of all, you're like really solving the problem they have, right? Like they don't want to deal with picking up the laptop in like a shady spot. Like they're super uncomfortable with that, right? I mean, hell, you could even have like you're a premium member. We have like an Uber to the fucking location button. You don't even need to know where it is. You just press the button. An Uber comes, picks your ass up, drops you off, is sitting there waiting for you while you get it. Then you get in. You don't even. You just pick it up. You already paid for it. You get back in the car and you're good. Like.
Or I've considered like, well, a drop spot type app, where the transaction would happen exactly like you're saying. You
Yeah.
literally pick up the item.
Yeah.
On the ground.
Or you could even do Amazon lockers. You could even drop it off on Amazon lockers. And then the shit's already there. You drop it off an Amazon locker. You go pick it up. You never even meet the person. You have no idea who the hell
There's
they are.
also local communities that have developed like parking spots in front of their city hall or like sheriff's department, just so that way there's like a local trading, like literally there's 2-car parking spots where they can pull up, do whatever they're gonna do, and just pull away. So just public transaction space. So.
I see. Yeah, definitely. For me, I was actually looking to, more like, I was actually initially targeted for like college students because they usually buy a lot of secondhand stuff.
Yeah.
But actually, I didn't really look into high-end market, so I definitely look into that.
Well, I still think you can get them. Like, yeah, just
The rich college
it just
students.
sucks. You just have to eat it on the little items
Yeah.
so that they can still post them there and be a good part of the marketplace, and it'll be easy for them, just like it is easy for us using DoorDash now and using Uber and everything else. But then you can still make the money that is going to be expected of it when, on the larger items where you're paying for the service that you're offering.
Right.
So.
Yeah, kind of extending off of this, there's a quote, I can't remember if it's, I'll remember, it's either Peter Thiel or Paul Graham from How to Start a Startup, which is an awesome podcast that basically follows a Stanford class taught by Y Combinator with a bunch of guest speakers in starting a startup. And the idea is when you start a startup, you should be focusing on a product that is 10 times better than anything else in the market. And like there are a lot of companies that there's a lot of startups that start products that are 2 times better or 3 times better than the original competitors, but they aren't able to really pull a lot of the market away because people are just so set in their ways. It's like a great example of this is Slack. Like if you like go into a workplace and they're not using Slack, there's almost this like, why aren't you using Slack? You become a defender of the product because it is such. Exactly. Yeah, when products become such high quality, such a better experience, then people are compelled to tell others to use the product instead of whatever alternative they're using right now. And I think that figuring out how and for whom, like your particular product is going to be that 10x better than all of the current services, I think that's really where you're going to make something that has that same sort of reaction where it's like, why are we even doing this transaction on Craigslist? Just go over to this other app so that I know that you're legit. And like that matters to, I think high quality items is one particular way to think about it. But like definitely thinking about where you can be different, where you can be better, where you can focus on different customers, is going to be where you find that really amazing core of the idea that ends up being really profitable.
Right. And also on top of like those features, I focus heavily on user experience. So you guys will be judges, like how my user experience is like. But why are you laughing?
No, because I like fucked it up.
Okay, no, sorry, I kept
You're
bringing
good,
it up.
you're good, you're good. No, you're fine.
Yeah, so I hope you guys can enjoy enjoy watching my demo next week. Hopefully you guys can give me some, comments like how it looks like, and I'm very excited for it.
So one of the main issues, and it kind of ties into like your big wow factor, the thing that makes people want to like use your product. So a big flaw that I've seen so far is since you have a point-based thing, and to make more sales, you have to buy more points, and then basically, so that's one way you make money. And then another way you make money is obviously when people buy an item, the 1%, right? So what I've noticed is, like personally, when I don't use eBay that much, I don't use Amazon like a crazy amount, you know. I don't use Craigslist a crazy amount, like maybe 3 times a year. I'll use one of those services. And so I think with the way you have things set up, like it's going to be a struggle. Like what exactly do you know right now that you can say are the big features that would want someone who usually doesn't sell a lot of stuff online to keep coming back to your platform, because that seems to be where you would be making more of your money, is if people started coming back and using your service about once a month.
I guess I would say, like for example, how do I say this? Yes, not a lot of people use Craigslist. I mean, I don't personally use Craigslist because it just I don't like buying off from random people. I just at least need to see whether these people are like, you know, not shady. So personally, I'm a big fan of, of course it's different industry, but I'm a big fan of Airbnb. The reason for that is it makes me feel much more secure than getting a rental room from like Craigslist. Of course, Craigslist doesn't charge like fees, right? Airbnb charges 10%. So, but I still use Airbnb just because it's beautiful. Their website is beautiful, and it's really like intuitive, and I can always find the good rooms there. That's why I use Airbnb, even though I have to go through this like annoying like verification process where you have to put your driver's license and take a selfie, I guess, from the webcam. This is weird, but I'll still use Airbnb. So basically, Airbnb changed the entire industry. You know, even to serve the hotel industry, even though like it's annoying to do so, right?
Yeah.
So to be honestly speaking, like I don't know whether my app's gonna be successful or not. I'm just gonna fucking do it. I'm just gonna build it. I'm just gonna like test it out and let's see how it goes. You know.
Awesome. We're holding you accountable.
We're watching.
Yeah.
See,
So,
the world's watching.
Nice.
So yeah, but definitely I see your point.
Yeah.
So my initial goal would be like drawing a user base. And after that, let's see how it goes.
So you're just selling basically the ease and like the security.
And then one thought and comment. It's a lot easier to be 10 times better than everyone else in your market if your market is fucking small.
True.
Niche markets are great
Yeah.
because they're small. It's a lot easier to go after them, build something they love, and then expand.
I would also say don't sell yourself short right away, man.
Yeah.
And like take the bite out of the bigger product if you have the opportunity.
Yeah. Also, you will realize from my application like next week, but mine is very intuitive UI. So at first, what you're gonna see is just locations. It's not like offer up where you see a bunch of posts like, and pictures. It's kind of like hard to find what you want, right? So what my design is this: basically first location. Currently, I'm gonna put 5 locations: Fremont, Palo Alto, Berkeley, San Francisco, and San Jose. And there'll be like how many posts, like those kind of tiny notifications. Like let's say in San Jose, like 10 inside the icon. What is it called? Like bubble, I guess. A pop-up, I guess. And then like 10. Okay, the user can see. Oh, there are 10 posts in San Jose. And click it or tap on it, and it's gonna direct to the categories where there are a bunch of other categories like, food, cars, etc. Blah blah blah. And also there's a search bar. You can if you know what you want, then great, just search. If you don't know what you want, just click on the categories. If you just want to buy random shit, just click category. Very easy. And below the categories, there's a post. Whenever you click, it's gonna load like below the categories. You'll see the posts, and in the post, very simple picture, picture of the first item, and subject, location, and condition, whether it's used, new, and then if you're being on the website, you're gonna see like brief, truncated content of like what's this person seller is talking about. Or if you're on mobile, it's gonna be disappeared. You know, you're only gonna see like important stuff like subject, you know, location and condition. Yeah, so yeah, I'm very excited to have you guys be my judges next week. So any questions? No?